So I remember going into one of the organizations and they looked at me and they were like, you are just good. You can go and try to survive, try to, hustle and see how you can make it in this city. But it was, a big surprise to me because probably what I was looking for was not necessarily the handouts or social assistance, something like that, but maybe even psychologically I needed maybe some support, or maybe I needed some mentorship, someone to guide me, to tell me this is how you live in this city, this is what you can do, ABCD. But I did not get that, so I was shocked. Of course, we have this label, asylum seeker, refugee, and it becomes a bit hard for you to access some services. It was very hard. So a lot of discrimination was really clear and it was visible. Whenever you mention that you are a refugee, or whenever you show up with your documentation, which is a big paper of A4, it was always something that was really controversial to what you would expect. Let's support RLOs. Let's support these initiatives. The value added is an RLO will give you 2 times what you were expecting with the same amount that can be used in international organizations or national organizations, NGOs, and at the community level, they are committing and they are willing to do more because they know what's the problem and they know how they can help and support to bring in that sustainability.
Once again, this is Botopla TV, the number one where refugee matters are raised and discussed. Today I had a chance to meet Mr. Jonas, a very potential leader in the refugee ecosystem here in Kenya, and I visited him at the office to know more about his leadership, his work in general, and also what they are doing at Umoja Refugee Creative. Without much ado, I would like to welcome him for an introductory part. Then from there, we can dive into the conversation regarding Jonas and the work he's doing in the community. Welcome, Mr. Jonas.
Thank you very much. I think I'm supposed to welcome you to our center.
Yes.
And it's a pleasure having you here today. Much honored to be part of this discussion. And my name is Jonas Ndaisenga. I'm a refugee from Burundi, and I live here in Kenya, basically in Nairobi. And I've been here quite some time, 10 years. And I've been working with communities of refugees and host Kenyans in various activities, various aspects. And here we are. We are based in Nairobi, Dagoret, more specifically Dagoret South, but we go to the extent of Dagoret North, even beyond, and in terms of people we serve. And I'm the co-founder and executive director of Umoja Refugee Creative. Umoja Refugee Creative being a refugee-led organization which is based in Nairobi, and most specifically working with those refugees in the urban setup and the metropolitan of Nairobi. And most of the times we serve the people that are within our environments, that is Dagoret, but again we have people who come from other areas, and we are always open and welcome to open to everyone. We welcome everyone, no matter where they are coming from, as long as they seeking the service that we are offering, and definitely we find ourselves in the capacity of doing so, and of course within our mandate. So about Mojo Refugee, it's an organization that focuses on 3 pillars, that is livelihood and mental health, and then advocacy. Under livelihood, we are focusing much on vocational trainings. That is where we have trainings like tailoring, we have trainings in digital skills, where we go deeper into, from computer literacy to advanced skills like production, graphic design. But again, we do cinematography that take us into storytelling and filmmaking. So that is most of the things that we do within digital skills. But again, in terms of trainings, we have also other change makers courses that we offer in partnership with our partners like Amala, which we are focusing right now on 2 main aspects, and that is the leadership, ethic leadership and social entrepreneurship. So we also have other trainings that we do on a short term, because all our intention is to see how do we support or contribute to help communities be economically or socioeconomically integrated in the host community. So that's where we actually look at also some of those other trainings like detergents making, crocheting, especially soap making, so on, which we do on a very short term, that like be 3 to 5 days or 6 when it goes beyond. So still in the livelihood, we have the entrepreneurship literacy. Entrepreneurship literacy or financial literacy that we do in terms of business development. We train what we call vikundi or groups, saving groups. We equip them with skills on how to manage their financial, their finances, and be able to even expand in terms of accessing more funds, be it in seed funds or loan wise. So those are some of the exercises that we also practice here, and we train those groups to be able to sustain themselves, and we help them to also connect with institutions that can help them to upgrade, like banks and other microfinances. So that's all I can say about livelihood. Under mental health, we focus mostly on counseling, which is in different ways, sometimes for groups, but also for one-on-one, counseling with, of course, the help of psychologists. So that is one, and also we have this kind of awareness that we do raise, mostly focusing on groups, or various groups. Of course, the demographies, they vary from one topic to another, and also the kind of target that we are looking for. So that's under mental health. And again, advocacy. We do advocacy in terms of policy influence and program design, influence, but also the kind of narratives that are within the system where displaced people are affected, but also how do we make sure that they can be part of the narratives that are being developed. I mean, the policies are being developed, be it the programs that are being designed, how do they put their input in it, and that input can be also taken into considerations. So that is part of the work that we do in terms of advocacy. We focus much on socioeconomic inclusion and social protection. That goes into documentation issues. How do we allow these communities to be part of ongoing economic development practices here and there in different aspects and different stages. Yeah. So again, in advocacy, we have child protection that we also operate in terms of emancipating women who are short of luck to participate in different activities like trainings, like jobs, opportunities, but it becomes hard for them because they have small children that they have to look after. And then we had to create now the child-friendly space where these women can bring their children in the morning and they can pick them in the evening, so they can be able to go out there and experience or venture into those different practices that can help them to sustain themselves. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. Probably it's a lot, but I had to explain more about this. This is now like holistically Umoja Refugee. Yes, thank you.
So thank you so much for taking us through what you are offering here at this space, and you are really doing an amazing job. As a co-founder, can you give us a bit of the background of why Umoja Refugee started? That need you realized at in the beginning. Then maybe you can tell us for how many years have you been in this in serving the community? The first time you arrived in Nairobi, how was your life as an individual, and what was the challenge?
When I came to Kenya, I was just a fresher from the university, and I came here and but again back home as a fresher, still I was working, so I was kind of well off. So as a young man working already, having my salary contract, good one, and of course having higher expectations after finishing my university. So things did not work well and I had to find myself here. And when I came, it was a shocker because I remember most of the things were out of my expectations. First of all, sometimes, as a young man, energetic, although you have problems, sometimes you have to put a smile on your face and try to approach people and so on. So I remember going into one of the organizations and they looked at me and they were like, "You are just good. You can go and try to survive, try to, hustle and see how you can make it in this city." But it was, a big surprise to me because probably what I was looking for was not necessarily the, handouts or social assistance, something like that, but maybe even psychologically, I needed maybe some support, or maybe I needed some mentorship, someone to guide me, to tell me this is how you live in this city, this is what you can do, ABCD. But I did not get that. So I was shocked. And I started to analyze. I remember we come here, of course, we have this label, asylum seeker, refugee, and it becomes a bit hard for you to access some services. It was very hard. So a lot of discrimination was really clear and it was visible. Whenever you mention that you are a refugee, or whenever you show up with your documentation, which is a big paper of A4, it was always something that was really controversial to what you would expect. And this means that when I was trying to approach different, because I was just from the background of the hotel industry, so I was trying to approach restaurants, hotels. They could not take me. That is one. Another thing is that even trying to do the small, the other jobs like the construction sites, aid, the night guards, and so on, you get to realize that it's not fair. What is being paid a Kenyan is not what you are being paid as, a foreigner per se. So that was one of the surprising and shocker that I could face, because I was like, I have skills, I have capacity to work, why not being accepted? And at some point I was feeling bad, because I'm like, I'm a refugee, yes, but I'm a refugee, an African refugee in Africa. I would expect a friend, a brother, a brotherhood environment that would tell, okay, this is our brother just from Burundi, not far even from here. Let's welcome, let's include them, let's integrate them into the different services where they can access and ABCD, especially in terms of labor market. So that was really so shocking. Yeah. So on the other hand, I remember I would be employed. For example, my last job I did in a hotel, I was employed and I was a senior hot kitchen chef. And then I had a trainee under me. And the trainee was being paid 3 times what I was being paid, just because I was asked to present my papers. They realized, this is a refugee, so they want to take advantage of my skills, my efforts, and everything, my energy. So those are some of the situations. And then I started to analyze around, looking at the communities, because we had to be like, since 2015-16, in the beginning of 2016, we started having like these community gatherings, trying to say we are becoming more and more, and we have like Congolese, Rwandese, Burundians, we have Sudan. We started to realize there are so many other communities. So we go into community gatherings. Sometimes, most of the times, it was Sundays. Then I came to realize people who are here, they have a diversity of skills. They have different capacities, and they are from different backgrounds. Some have been working in the ministry positions. Some have been working in different other sectors, private sector. Some other have been self-employed, like very well established business people, but they found themselves here. Some are like us, from just the university. Some are just out of secondary school. Some are family people who were well established back home, and now they are here. So yeah, something started to click in my mind, like,
All those potential.
yes, what do we have that we can use as a community to survive? Because we realized, one, people will still go to hospital, people will still die, we need to bury them, people will still do marriages, however small, but they will still do. They will still have like different community activities happening, cultural and so on. Then all of those. Then we said, okay, how do we leverage on these resources that are available within us so that we can make it useful for ourselves? Then we found ourselves, some people are the best tailors. Some people are caterers. Some people are, in beauty and hairdressing and so on. So I came to realize that these are things that we can use, and it can make it work for us probably to use those skills. And that's even how within our first ever exercise of putting together things for this organization, we had to look at the potential within ourselves. What are some of the skills that we have, and what do you know? What do I know? How do we bring it together and start something? So that's how we came up with the idea of now starting the organization. But again, as we continued, because we were actually registered in 2020 by 7th of July 2020. So we were able to register because we started the journey 2029, trying to approach the administration. 2019. Thank you. Trying to approach the local administration, getting advices, trainings, and so on, and we were able to finally get the registration by 2020. Then we started to a little bit to work, but again, it was also in the hardship of the corona virus first wave, and it was very terrific. A lot of families were kind of not in accessing jobs because there was a big cut off in terms of job opportunities and so on. So most likely the people who were the first victims were refugees or asylum seekers because they did not have papers. So in terms of cutting off, the list comes first at those refugees and asylum seekers. So many families were suffering. So I remember we fundraised and tried to approach different other partners. We came up with an initiative of serving people with foodstuffs and other basic needs but in that particular time, where we were able to be serving like around 500 and above families, family halls. Then we could have that practice or that exercise happening after 2 months, until 2021, mid 2021. Yeah, so that time we also had that idea that these communities, these refugees, asylum seekers, they live with host Kenyans. So I may say for us, integration, we started very early. Like we saw it early, that it's a necessity. We said we are not going to serve like 500 families, only refugees. That might bring conflict. And we approached the local administration through chief's offices. We approached community leaders like religious leaders. We collected names of those most vulnerable families from those different offices, and of course the refugees also on the list. Then we combined the list and we were able to be serving those communities in conjunction with those leaders that we mentioned. That means it was already a sign or a gesture of coming together, of trying to do things in a way that even the host can feel like these people, they have the conscience. They are here, but they are not selfish. They face problems, but they want to share with others. So that was our start, and later on we realized, as you say, mention our biggest idea that we wanted to, that pushed us to continue or to start this one. It's none other than socioeconomic inclusion, and that has been always our main advocacy point, socioeconomic inclusion, because we were looking at the sustainability, the normal life of someone in a day-to-day life. How do we access the simple needs that someone can have? So it was easy for us to say we are going to start by looking into. Even our program design comes from that, because we were looking around the communities. We find that most of the people do not have jobs, or when they go for jobs, they are discriminated, or sometimes when they even have those jobs, they are given those jobs, they are not well paid or fairly paid, so they are kind of always exploited and they don't feel satisfied. Then we were like, how do we change the mindset of our community to look into what they have and make it an opportunity for themselves and create their own jobs, and maybe even for other communities, including host Kenyans. So that's what the idea, main idea that was there. And later on, by the way, our second program, I remember we as we were trying to do that, we came to realize people have their own backgrounds, definitely, but again, there are so hidden stories behind every family of what they have gone through for them to be here today, for whatever happened within the other part of their families and so on, what they have faced themselves. Those are some of the traumatizing memories that most of families live with, and they can still put a smile on their faces on the streets, and you cannot know unless they tell you. So after realizing that we have to work on something within the mental health, we started to look for how do we have people or capacity to conduct mental health programs, especially that it's a very sensitive program. You have to have a qualified psychologist. You have to have also an approach that will help you to work towards that, like confidentiality matter and data protection and so on. Then we came together and said, okay, maybe as we design this, we need to consult, of course, from the community, but again, from the people around who are experts in this sector. And of course, due to advices and counsels we were able to start. And we started, by the way, with volunteers as always. Most of our staff, from the beginning, we started as volunteers. No one was being paid. There's no grant that was there. It was a self-motivated kind of passion that was pushing us, that we wanted to do something for ourselves and our communities. So we started with volunteers, sometimes with the university students who are doing internships, sometimes with those who want to do attachment. And we're lucky to have one of them, the psychologist, who would accept to volunteer with us permanently. Yeah, so it was an honor to have someone like that. So we were able to start that program, and we continued with the advice and working with other people. Yeah, and it was possible now for us to say these are now our main focus. So advocacy, that is, whether you like it or not, you have to find yourself there. So advocacy came without even planning about it. We found ourselves, we have to talk about issues. We had to talk about what is happening on the ground. And we had to, like, the things that are happening on the ground and what the reports say, what the bigger offices are trying to project. At some point, they could contradict. They could not be, we could not feel, they are projecting what we really feel at the ground. So that urge of wanting to communicate the real story, how do we make sure stories of refugees can be told by refugees, people who have been there, who are still there, who are experiencing currently those issues, rather than someone who is an expert, comes from the US, comes from anywhere,
even here in Kenya, but
Here
in
in
a
Kenya,
family.
in a well done, well-off family, someone who has never been even a victim of a small conflict, of which we don't pray for that for anyone, but when it comes to solutions, we felt it's not enough if we sit down and let people decide and find solutions for us. We will still be complaining about the results, because whoever is doing it as an expert. They want to prove they have expertise in writing good proposals, in writing good reports, but is it really?
An experienced person is the best one.
Yes. Thank you. That touching story, is it attached to the lives of the people who are the affected communities? So that is the urge of now finding ourselves into advocacy. So I may say that is one of the ways we came up with all this that today we are doing.
Yeah.
And another thing is that in terms of challenges,
As an organization, then when
As
you
an
were started,
organization.
what was the major challenges you faced at the beginning?
the major one I would say in two perspectives. The first one is at the community level. The community level, once you have started such an initiative, whether you have or you don't have, for them, they know this is an office they can manage. So they will come and, request and so on. And you, like a parent who have children who are coming to tell you we are hungry and you cannot afford to feed them. So that's the feeling. So terrific, very terrible. Because you can imagine someone coming telling you that, without mentioning, but just some of the sensitive situations, and you feel it's really worth it, but you cannot because you don't have the capacity in terms of finances and, of course, especially finances. So that was at the community level. Also the stigma at some point at the community level, where they feel like you are just a refugee like us, and so what are you telling us?
You can't assist us.
Is there anything that you can do special?
Yeah.
So when it comes now to the system, the ecosystem of the stakeholders, international, UNHCR and DRS,
The government also.
government, it was a bit horrific. Why? First of all, RROs were nowhere recognized as a genuine and legitimate entity that can operate and can work with refugees. Secondly, we were always seen like people who are trying to do things without any experience, any expertise. Not experience, expertise. Because they knew experience, we had it. But we don't have any expertise. We are just tapping here and there, trying things, but you could see in many conversations, many engagements, people would look at you like,
What are you saying? You can't.
Sometimes it was mean that even your own contributions, those contributions you are putting on the table, they will not be taken into consideration because they are just hizo ni mawazo tu za au marefugee. But is it really what was supposed to be done? Yeah, so it was a struggle. Sometimes where you have to prove yourself that you can mean something, you can do something. So that is one of the biggest also challenge that we really get from the stakeholders side. And of course, financial support.
Challenge.
When it comes to financial support, it was always not easy. I don't want to say that now it's very easy, but at least we have a journey where we were and where we are right now. So, for example, an organization that is born today or yesterday, they came in a system where we have the Refugee Act. They come in a place where we have Shirika Plan.
At least the laws
are
recognized.
Recognized. They are now engaging on different levels in global, regional, national level. They are engaging. We have Shirika Plan. We have like Nairobi County, for example. They recently launched their own strategy for refugees integration, which is a great initiative. But in the previous days, it was not like that.
When the Alelo movement was coming up to existence.
Just afresh. It was something like everyone is listening like, okay, so we hear you. So there was that kind of, we hear you. So meaning it had to take a boldness, and courage to
overcome all those challenges to be where. And much appreciate. Let me just take this time to appreciate all those fellow leaders from the Alelo ecosystem who started back in the days when they have played a big role. And though the journey is still,
by that time, for example, I remember I've been in various meetings, and you could talk about Arero, an Arero, we are doing ABCD, and someone is like, so you're from the camp? Because that time it was not kind of popular that there are refugees within this urban setup. If they are there, probably they are not here legally. So telling them that you are having an organization, working with them, and so ABCD, most of the institutions around were like, you mean there is a camp somewhere in I remember someone asking me if there is a camp somewhere in Kabiria. And I was like, no, it's not a camp. It's an organization.
It's a community living in the...
We have just a mixed community where Kenyans, refugees, different communities of refugees and so on, they live together with Kenyans, and they are mingled in like what you call urban settlements. And they're like, oh, so you mean there are people living with the city who are refugees? So it had to take a lot of education path to tell people who you are and what you're doing, proving yourself, trying to make them understand that it's there, it's reality, let's accept and let's move on. So that's one of the challenges that was there, and it was quite big, because you can imagine going somewhere and as you try to introduce yourself, the first question will be like, wait, that stopper of wait, what are you talking about? So
but now the message or what you fought for now has proved that you are making sense back in the days.
Sure. It has been proven that we were making sense when we approach different people, and by the way, thanks to all the leaders in the administration, the different stakeholders, be it the international organizations, be it the different agencies, the people we approached and they could believe in us. It made a lot of sense. Probably that particular moment to look like small, or it couldn't maybe make some sense, but it made a big sense in terms of how the journey would be is today, considering how it was in the beginning. So I may say that today, first thing I appreciate is that the government, counties, local administration, police stations, host communities, community leaders, wazee wa kijiji, church leaders, they know, they are aware. Not all of them, of course, definitely. But for example, in Nairobi, most of those I mentioned, they are aware and they are also doing their best to integrate refugees in the community. And integration for us, it means simply to allow someone to be. Allow someone to be. That's it. Otherwise, it takes a lot, of course, in terms of work, documentation, the processes here and there. Yes, but at least if you let someone be, as the process continues, that person is feeling accepted. They are feeling the kind of belonging spirit into the community. So that is what all we were looking for, and also it has been achieved.
And also it will give them space to use what there is a saying that says people are able different. So even having the status of a refugees, it doesn't mean they have capacity within them. And you can't live with something inside you. You need to style up and put it to whatever you can do. And also for the better or for the good use of the country that hosts the refugees. That's also, it's a positive outcome of giving people or letting people be, as you are saying.
Sure.
They have a lot they can offer to contribute to the country they are in, and also helping them also to use their potential.
There's that kind of you maximize the resources. I mean, the use of resources that you have within yourself, because you have been given the opportunity to be. No one is pressuring you. No one is over time coming and saying, oh, you don't deserve this, you don't have the right to this, and you don't have. They have let you to be, so you can even be able to think and create an environment for you that will allow you to prosper or to excel. So that's, I think, what matters a lot. So that was about the challenges. I know some challenges might be there, so many in terms of documentations and others, lack of freedom to mobility and here and there. But I'm saying, as in much we have these all challenges, if there is that kind of understanding from both sides, that there is a need of coming together and work on these different issues, then for me we are in. I mean, we have half of the solution, because the first step is people who understand that we need to work on something together, and everyone is doing their best in their own ways. So that's not for me, because if I have come to you, I have a problem, trying to explain to you, you deny even to listen to me, that's a big problem, because it means there's not even a chance to try. But if you have listened and you have said, okay, give me time, I also learn about it and also get back to you, I go back with some hopes that even if the solution, the result might be negative, at least
we have tried.
This guy took his time to listen to me, and he even went back and did his due diligence to find out what really is happening. So whatever response comes, I'll be satisfied with it, because I know it's always a yes or no. But how we started, how the approach in the beginning of all the issues is what matters. Yeah.
As we wind up this session and this conversation, I would like just to ask you very short or brief one message. You are here some years back. You continue with the journey of making the impact or changing the narratives that people have had towards refugees. As a person who were in this journey, what message can you give to your fellow refugees, the community at large, and what message can you give to the people who found themselves in the helping refugees in one way or another? Those are the countries that host them, and also humanitarian organization who came in just to help refugees. Try to give me your own message you can give to them.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I would say one thing I would tell maybe my fellow community in the refugee setup, I would say that our dreams should not die because of our status. We are able to still dream, and we are able to still even chase our dreams and achieve big things as long as we are committed and focused. It is always good to see how people committed back in the years where RROs were very new and fresh, very in the beginning, and everyone committing most of the time, most of 99.9, I think, committing their own resources and time to build an initiative that can help other communities. And the good thing is today, it's no longer about just communities, refugee communities. It's even holistically the whole society, because Kenyans are there, and all those communities in the refugee packet. So those are things that I would say I feel proud about it. That when we started, we were focusing on our own communities as refugees. But in the long journey, trying to figure out what to do and how to do it, we came to realize that we have fellow Kenyans who are facing similar problems, who we live together, who we go to look for those hustles in same spaces. And then today, Umoja Refugee, like many other, they are not serving only refugees. They are also serving host Kenyans who are vulnerable, who need these spaces. For example, here in the vocational skills that we offer, Kenyans are coming like they are getting surprised. They are like, I was willing to go for a college, but I was not able to make it. Today, I can access this skill. I can train for 6 months, get a certificate, and that's amazing when you look at how they express this, the feelings and emotions when they learn that they can learn. So it's something that we really feel happy about, and we are so appreciative. So going into the larger community stakeholders and other people, maybe let me start by leaders who are bit from Mojo Refugee, from other RROs. You have done a great job, and you are still doing a great job, and never give up. What is happening today, it's because the commitment and the selfless spirit that you had to commit your resources, your time, everything, to make sure that there are these initiatives that are created with the purpose of integrating and including all these communities in different opportunities and services that are available. So the work might look so small when you look at yourself, but it's a big and huge impact out there. And the good thing about RROs, actually, an RRO can operate and impact twice what a big organization, NGO, is impacting using millions. But for an RRO, just a small amount.
No financial plan for
maybe they might have smaller grant, but what they will achieve will be bigger, like what maybe can be achieved with millions in big organizations. That's the beauty of the community projects, because there are no extra needs in terms of the functional or operational exercise at the organization. You find out that money will go definitely into the real work of the community. And that is the message actually to donors and partners. Let's support RROs. Let's support these initiatives. The value added is an RRO will give you 2 times what you were expecting with the same amount that can be used in international organizations
or national
organizations. I mean NGOs, and at the community level, they are committing and they are willing to do more because they know what's the problem and they know how they can help and support to bring in that sustainability. So there is a lot that I can talk about that, but let me keep it short to that. One thing I want to say about stakeholders and partners and different actors, thank you, a big thank you, because the listening ear led us to where we are today. Today we are talking about more meaningful participation at the decision-making table, quality funding. That means there is a little bit of small funding. That is already a step done. That's why we're talking about quality funding, because there is already what is being funded, but not really qualitative, even quantitative. So we are talking about of quantitative and qualitative funding. We are talking about inclusion in different spaces, frameworks that are in existence where refugee matters are discussed, because they have been a listening ear and they have been an open door for us and many to be able to participate. So that's something that we really appreciate. I want everyone who is seeing this video to feel that we are so much appreciative. We might not have ways to express it maybe directly to you, but let this voice come to you and feel that what you feel like it's small that you have ever done,
it's great to you, to our side.
It is very huge and it's so great. We appreciate. So the journey has to continue. We have to still open doors for more engagements. We have to talk about of quality engagements. We have to talk about of quality and the quantitative funding. We have to talk about how do we shift the real localization, because localization have been trending in the last 2 years, but when you look at it in the real sense, something's not adding up.
It's still in theory more than it is in practical.
Definitely. More into theories than practical. So we still need to really look into it and discuss and redesign and come to the ground. Let's discuss. Give us space when you're designing. Today, as I'm speaking this opportunity, I was speaking to the effort that is happening within Kenya for RROs to come together and have a coordination board. That is one way that also we want to appreciate all the stakeholders that have been supporting the process. Every person that has ever done something. It is really worthy to see that we need to come together, put our efforts together to reorganize how we are engaging so that we can really achieve
much better,
of course, for holistically our communities. Yes.
Thank you so much, Jonas, for your time. And I really know when people meet, usually like we don't have much time. Like discussions, talking about the issues, like projecting the solutions. I think this is needed for many times so that we can express. So meeting
Definitely.
at this time like this one,
Yeah.
like we have a lot to speak. We don't
Exactly.
have, but I really do you believe, because about Topla TV with refugees, this is an initiative I had many years back, 2018, because I saw like the World Refugee Day is near near the door, that's when only refugee matters were just brought on the daylight to the global and the world to see. That I realized, surely one day in a year, that's when we have issues, that's when we have beauties and impact that we have made. We need to spread it to the world. Now I said we need a daily life, if possible.
You're doing a great job, Botopra. You're doing a great job, Museveni. Allow me to mention your name. You're doing really a great job, and I think you're among other leaders who are really. I mentioned that they should feel proud of what they're doing. They should be, feel appreciated that you're doing a great job. That where we are today is because of people like you, people like any other leaders we know in the system, who are committing their time and even the resources to make sure things are moving forward. Yeah, so allow me to also say that some of the refugee leaders or maybe RROs may not be feeling like it's working, but you understand that it works, and you will not understand that it can work until
it works.
It works. Until you can never give up. Until you feel like you are attached to it. Until like you feel like you have to. Like it becomes a calling that you cannot go away from it. So that is the biggest spirit behind. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Looking up to when we'll be sitting, where we'll be having daily discussion. Jonas, beside of the work you are doing, you spare a short time and come in the studio. We discuss. We start. There are lots to discuss, and also there are lots to show to the world that refugees are just human like any other body, any other person. So stop. And some things we need to tell people: if you can't understand us, go away from us, because
Exactly.
we will just work with people who know. Sometimes you need to have confidence in yourself.
Exactly.
You need to prove people wrong on how they perceive what you are doing. And also we need to explore and make our dreams come to reality.
Sure.
Because we are human like any other person. We have potential. We can't allow situation and status determine who we are.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Jonas, for your time.
Yeah, as I close by this remark, I would say that let no one define your life. Let no one define your destiny. Let your own spirit, inner spirit, work and follow the promptings of your heart to achieve what you believe you can achieve. The barriers can be there, but don't give an ear to them. Don't look at them. Just focus on your goals and your dreams. So it will work. And find people who can understand your ideology. Not everyone is negative. Some people are very kind and generous, and they are willing to work with everyone. So I think that's the mind behind going on and never give up. So as I finish, I want to also highlight that we are having a project that we call Beyond My Status, a project that we started in 2023, and as an advocacy campaign to mobilize communities, stakeholders, and leaders to kind of get to recognize, but also as we showcase the resilience of these communities, refugees, asylum seekers, migrants, to be able to understand that these people are not just a burden, they are not just refugees, they have what they came with, and they have what they are contributing already in the communities where they stay, where they study, where they live, where they work. They have different contributions that they are putting on the table. So this particular campaign is happening again this year with various partners that I will not mention here, but we are planning to have a big event of 3 days where we'll be having an open market exhibition for both communities, and we'll be having competitions in different art and talents. We'll be having spaces for discussions, especially for advocacy purpose, but also for the matter of pushing the agenda of inclusion and local integration. We are basing our project on the Shirika plan that has been launched by His Excellency President of Kenya. Last month. That's
few months ago.
Just like a month, it's already like a month actually, because it was in April, the end of April. So now we are looking at the pillars within the Shirika plan, and we realize that pillar 3 and pillar 5 suit our cause, and socio-economic inclusion, social cohesion. How do we empower people to be able to stand for themselves? And we are calling upon partners, donors, stakeholders, any person who feels like this is the right space to be, to come and join hands together to be able to work this journey as one society, one community. We believe solutions will not come from New York. Solutions will not come from AU headquarters or Europe. Solutions will not come from UNHCR office. Solutions will not come from the government of Kenya. These are what we call enablers. But solutions will come from
people who have problems.
The community. People who are affected, people who have the problems can find solutions to these problems. And thanks to the enablers I mentioned that can sustain and support to make it happen. But otherwise, we are the communities, and we can be able to find proper solutions to our own problems than any other person can do. Thank you.